Anytime, on my word, you will go from the line. We want to wish all the riders the best of luck out there.
I am just trying to approach the season, ride without fear.
Looks like we've got about 10 or 11 riders in that men's elite group.
And Haley Smith sitting second wheel, rejoining from behind.
Keegan Swenson separated from the field.
And this is it, Sam Shepard making contact with Alexis Garda's wheel.
You know, first race of the year, you never really know where everyone's fitness is at. Good to shake it out and, you know, good throwdown with the guys.
Season 3, is it a new you or what?
It's too early to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good off season. I put in more volume than I've ever put in, so I'm hoping to see some benefits from that.
Welcome everyone to Monterey, California, where it is a cool and cloudy morning here at the Sea Otter Classic.
Oh yeah, go yourself, have fun.
We're glad to have you with us as we get ready to watch the elite men's and the elite women's fields get ready to compete in the Fuego XL, a mountain bike race featuring roughly 70 miles of single track and gravel. I'm Bill Ellison, and I'm honored to be here to talk you through today's action. This race marks the start of the third season of the Life Time Grand Prix, the newest off-road cycling series consisting of 7 iconic race events. If you've been following along at home, you know it's been a wild ride up to this point, to say the least. Here's a quick look at how the last couple seasons of the Lifetime Grand Prix have gone down, as well as a preview of a few changes you can expect to see this season.
Here we are, the third season of the Lifetime Grand Prix. Seasons 1 and 2 really exceeded all our expectations. In terms of athletic performance, international interest,
savage, absolutely savage.
And the participation from all the everyday athletes.
It's a sea of Lycra here this morning in town.
You know, I think we're going to have an even more competitive series this year. You know, both on the men's and women's side. I think it's going to be really interesting, really dynamic.
If you thought seasons 1 and 2 were exciting, well, I can tell you now that you haven't seen anything yet. Season 3 is here, and we can't wait to kick this thing off.
With seasons 1 and 2 of Call of a Lifetime, I think we accomplished everything we ever could have dreamed of accomplishing. And I'd like to see us figure out a way to create even more connectivity to these events and these athletes.
I'm Michelle Duffy-Smith, oversee the marketing across the country for Lifetime events. This year for the Lifetime Grand Prix, we are doubling down on our commitment to bring the home audience into the action. All 7 races will be available to watch online within 48 hours of the event. With extended highlights and stories from the athletes, we want the viewer to feel like they are along for the ride all season long. And in addition to ramping up our live coverage, we've made a couple other changes as well.
For the first time, our elite men's and elite women's fields will have separate starts in all 7 races. We've also increased the prize purse to a grand total of $300,000. So buckle up, because season 3 is here and we can't wait to see how the next 6 months unfold.
All right, we're back at the Laguna Seca Raceway and just about 15 minutes out from the start of the race. You know, the competition has been fierce in the first 2 seasons, and there's a lot on the line for these athletes. These races and the coverage they receive provides them with the kind of exposure that can really give their careers a boost. Obviously, there's a few names we expect to see at the pointy end of the race all season long, but then there's the rest of the field, guys and girls who maybe you're not as familiar with. Everybody has their own goals going into this thing. What is at stake? How do you deal with the pressure? We took a little time the last few days to catch up with some of these riders and get some of their thoughts as they embark on a new season of the Lifetime Grand Prix.
I'm Mariah Shepherd from New Zealand. I'm so excited to be here racing the Lifetime Grand Prix.
Series has definitely drawn a bit more eyes to the sport in the U.S., which is super cool. So I think it's getting used to
being in the limelight a little bit more.
There's been so much hype about it the last couple of years. The coverage has been amazing and every podcast is talking about it.
I'm feeling as good as I've felt in, any of the 3 years for sure.
The imposter syndrome has definitely been present just because last season I didn't ride well if you just look at results.
You can have all the good training numbers, all the good training hours, blah, 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 but it doesn't matter unless you do it on race day.
There's quite a few women that have, freshly off of Cape Epic, and it's like, I don't have that kind of fitness.
But I also know I'm so capable of more, so it's been so special for the Grand Prix to believe in me and let me have another chance at succeeding.
And then on the other hand, I want to race to win.
Back again, and really cool to be here at Sea Otter, for sure. Something new, and it's on the mountain bike, which is my true love.
I mean, this race means a lot to me. I've had a bunch of success here when I was younger, had a few dark races here where I kind of struggled to find the rhythm and find the power and the speed.
It's so competitive. I'm a drop bar, climbing specialist. Even on this course, on my best day, maybe I'll get 10th, 15th.
I need to remember to make my heart pump harder for those couple extra moments and keep that contact with that wheel, because it always lets up and then you're there, and I just don't want to miss being there.
More wins. Season 3, that's what I'm going for.
All right, everybody, we know how we got here. We know what's at stake, and we are just a moment away from the start. In addition to our production crew staged all over the course, we have Kimo Seymour and Janelle Spilker up in the heli. They'll be our eyes in the sky today, keeping us informed on all the happenings out there.
And how do I become top 10 in that single track?
Save it.
Will it?
Save it. Don't go early. Save it.
We also have Tim Johnson and Lauren Hall following the action on e-bikes and giving us updates from the ground. So without further ado, let's get down to the start line where our men are ready to get this thing going. Kimo and Janelle, take it away.
We are 30 seconds from the start of the Life Time Grand Prix presented by Mazda, the Fuego XL.
We want to wish all the riders the best of luck out there. Riders, go! You are underway. The Life Time Grand Prix presented by Mazda officially underway.
And they're off. An aggressive start, just as we were talking about. You can see Lachlan Morton on the right-hand side in the pink colors of EF Education. Alexi Vermeulen also taking the start, kind of leading the way.
We see Keegan there just off about the third or fourth wheel back on the left-hand side.
I need to channel aggression, be completely ready to explode as soon as the gun goes off, and be battling for position right into that first single track section.
We're going to see as they make this next turn, it's going to get a little steeper, and you'll see them drop the hammer there.
This is incredibly spread out there, using every inch of road because it is a full-on fight to get to the front.
Heading into this hairpin here, you'll see them quickly come down to a choke point.
To me, if you further than 10th wheel, it's not a good spot to be. So main focus there, don't get boxed and sharpen the elbows a little bit. Gets to that pinch point, just make sure you top 10.
Wouldn't you know it, Keegan's going to lead him into the turn.
It's kind of amazing. We were watching Keegan sitting fourth, fifth wheel, and it's just a couple of pedal strokes puts him in front of the entire field. Keegan is going to be leading from the start. Will he be leading at the end?
So the men have made it out of the Laguna Seca Raceway and established their pecking order in the single track. As always, we'll continue to share our updates from the course as they hit the timing mats, as well as any live reports we receive from our crew in the field. But now it's time to go back to the start line and let the women duke it out for that oh-so-important positioning as they enter the single track. Kimo and Janelle, how's it looking from the sky?
The big names on the start line this year have already been called up. We've got Sofia Gomez Vichafanier, Alexis Starda, Haley Smith, And Lauren DiCrescenzo, a woman who has taken to the start of the season with multiple wins.
The Sea Otter start line is one of the most stressful start lines of the season because even though it's still a pretty long race,
Sea Otter start to make a little bit of noise. Riders go! You are underway!
A lot of it's decided in the first 3 minutes on the track.
And the women are off chemo, just like we saw in the men's race. The women are full gas all across the road. Alexis Scarda up on the right-hand side, wasting no time to take the lead.
Our elite women's event officially off the line, and we are rolling 68 miles beginning right now.
Good to see the yellow and green jersey there. I think that's Peta Mullins. She's come over from Australia, multi-time national champion in, I think, 3 disciplines.
Sofia Gomez, Vitrepanier, our winner of the Grand Prix last year, winner here last year in a time of 4 hours and 55 minutes, taking off the front of the women's peloton, going into this right-hand hairpin turn. Chemo, she has a significant gap on the group with that attack.
And just like that, the 2024 Lifetime Grand Prix presented by Mazda is underway. You saw our lead men and women head into the sandy climbs and flowy single track of the Fort Ord National Monument. They'll continue to ride for roughly 35 miles before we see them again right here as they complete the first of 2 laps. For a closer look at the Fuego XL course, we caught up with longtime race director Jeff Frost. Jeff knows this course and this race better than anyone. Here's Jeff with a deeper dive into the Sea Otter Classic Fuego XL and what makes this race different from any of the other stops on the Lifetime Grand Prix.
My name is Jeff Frost. I'm the race director for the Lifetime Sea Otter Classic in Monterey, California. I've been designing and maintaining, building, laying out courses for 25 plus years. The Sea Otter Classic Fuego XL. It begins and ends at the Laguna Seca Raceway. It consists of 2 laps, roughly 35 miles each, set amongst the picturesque Fort Ord National Monument. The beginning of the race is a sprint around the raceway that immediately funnels into single track. Everyone wants to be first out of the raceway because once you hit the single track, you're pretty much locked into your position until the course opens back up. That happens after about 5 miles when the course turns onto gravel road. Here you'll see riders that didn't get that front position try to make up some ground. From there, it's a mix of fire road, old army roads, dirt and gravel, and single track. The climbs are short and punchy, and the descents are fast. We have timing mats set up at miles 13 and 16. Then there's 3 miles of gravel road, 2 miles of single track, and it just keeps going like this, back and forth. And then after about 30 miles of this, the riders turn onto Lookout Ridge Road, one of the most iconic sections of the course. It's a steep climb to the top, and then a fast descent back into Laguna Seca for either the completion of lap 1 or the finish to the race. April is beautiful here in Monterey, and we're hoping for clear skies and relatively cool temps for the world's largest cycling festival, the Sea Otter Classic.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. We have word from out on the course that our men are about 8 kilometers in. There's a bit of a climb in the single track before they turn onto our first stretch of gravel. Chemo and Janelle, how's it looking out there?
Yes, Bill, we have our eyes on the leading men, and you're right, Keegan Swenson is still leading the pace.
Yeah, we have Keegan in front, Lance Hayded is behind him, Alexi, Braden Lang, Cole, and there's Matt Beers moving up in position. You know, Janelle, Matt Beers came into this race, and he really, he just came off winning Cape Epic, and I think he comes in with some serious confidence. He raced with Howie, they both won in pretty commanding fashion. They looked great. Beers looks great. This is a good way for him to put some points on the board early this season.
I do like to be in control of the race because then I'm not relying on how other people ride. I'm a bit more of a steady rider.
And we've got a rider who is not content to be sitting behind the riders, that he is taking that little side trail to the right. They're coming into a downhill section, Timo, and the fewer people you have in front of you, the less likely that you're going to have something go wrong.
You never quite know how people are going to be in the moment. Like if a single track, like are they going to be focused? Are they going to make mistakes?
Here they go. Once they hit this gravel section up here, the speed is going to pick up and they're really going to start moving.
It's rather better for you to have the control.
I can see our e-bike reporter down there, Tim Johnson. It looks like he is in position to join the lead men on this turn.
Yeah, here we go. I'm chasing our lead men on this section of gravel. This is going to start moving pretty fast here. The course conditions are dry, which, as you know, means the dirt sections can get slippery. We'll see how the men handle those conditions once we leave the gravel up here and get back on single track.
So Janelle, Matt Beers has come to the front. He's not content to sit in and just watch this race happen. He wants to go up and make it happen. Looks like Alexi might have gotten on his wheel. Keegan sitting in third. Cole in fourth right now.
Behind our leading 12, we've gotten 10 more riders chasing on.
Okay, right up here. This is where we're going to make a right-hand turn back onto single track.
You know, Janelle, Keegan is just such a crafty rider. You know, he let Matt Beers come to the front, pull him on that rolling downhill, and then what does he do? Right before the single track, he jumps back to the front. He is just always so spot on with his tactics.
Timo, this course is notoriously dry, rutted from all the winter rains that California has seen so far this year, and then we'll often see a lot of loose dirt on top that will act like ball bearings.
These guys have to be careful. They've been out on the course. They've seen where there's dangerous spots where there's been a lot of erosion, but boy, they've got to be on their A game because it can get really dicey quick.
Oh, mother! This stupid sport!
Word from out on the course is that it is dry and dusty, and the riders are having to manage those conditions, some with more success than others. And as the men are moving right along through Fort Ord, Timo and Janelle are going to split off and go catch up with the women. Last we saw, Sophia was off to a hot start. Timo and Janelle, how are things looking now?
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing the same thing, Bill. Sophia Gomez has a massive gap on 5 chasers. We saw Hannah Otto leading that chase, and it looked like Katarina Nash with Alexis Skarda, a part of that 5-woman chase. This is a 5-hour race for the women. And so if you go out too hard, you can really suffer in lap 2. I don't think that that is on Sophia's mind at all today, as she has taken the lead from turn 1 and clearly is not waiting around for the competition.
When you see someone take a flyer off the front, you know you have to close the gap and close the gap fast. You need to work with the riders around you.
But the question is, will it become too competitive within that pack to never quite make that jump?
It's like trying to be a conductor with an orchestra of different people with different natural rhythms. Like, you have to figure out how to get somebody who's slow and steady to stay on with somebody who's punchy, or somebody who's punchy to kind of keep it steady.
I just heard from Lauren Hall, who's with the lead women. Let's check in with her to see what she's been seeing on the ground.
I feel like we've barely begun the day, and Sophia Vichafanier is gone, miles gone. She has just left everybody else to chase. No conversation, right? I mean, it is a blistering pace right now. So we'll see if this is going to save for the day.
Thanks for that, Lauren. Timo, what do you think the likelihood is that Sophia went out a little bit too fast today and that she's going to be reeled in by this chase group of strong 5 women?
You know, knowing her results thus far this year, I'd say the likelihood is pretty low.
But we have some very experienced riders in this chase group of 5. That is Hannah Otto leading the group. You have Alexis Skarda on her wheel. And it looks like Jenna Reinhardt, who has had a very strong start to the season.
Last year I faded in the last 5 miles and lost a couple spots, and that was kind of my theme last year, with maybe not getting my nutrition perfect and fading a lot, so I just want to have a clean race.
She has some strong performances under her belt, but you can tell talking to her that she is really hungry for a top finish in the Life Time Grand Prix presented by Mazda.
Okay, thank you, Kimo and Janelle. So as our women are out there jockeying for position, it won't be much longer before our men are nearing the end of lap 1, which, if you've seen the elite field race as Sea Otter before, you know there's one section of this course that really can separate the contenders from the pretenders. We mentioned it earlier. It is, of course, Lookout Ridge. For more on the iconic climb, here's Michelle Duffy with a breakdown on this pivotal section of the Fuego XL.
This course is very different than the Rad, it's very different than Unbound. This is going to be fast, aggressive racing, constant climbing, descent, blind turns, and no part is more consequential than the final climb on Lookout Ridge. It's about 2.5 miles and 800 feet of elevation gain at 15% grades. Water runoff has carved deep trenches into the sandy surface, making it so riders will be single file at times as they navigate their way around those ruts. There are spectators up there, people banging on drums, and the views are insane. It's the perfect place to make an attack and a fitting finale to the race. Last year, it was a lead group of Keegan Swenson, Russell Finsterwald, Christopher Blevins, and Cole Patton at the bottom of the climb. Keegan made his attack, and Russell was the only one that could follow. It came down to a sprint finish with Keegan narrowly beating out Russell to claim the top spot. It would mark Keegan's second Fuego XL victory in a row after separating on Lookout and coming in solo in 2022. On the women's side, last year it was Sofia Gomez Vichafane, Alexis Skarda, Vera Lucer, and Haley Smith at the bottom of the climb. As soon as they started the ascent, Sofia hit the gas and was gone. Clearly she was determined. If you remember, 2 years ago, Sofia was in the lead group on Lookout with Alexis Skarda and the late Mo Wilson. That year it was Mo who found the extra gear and left Sofia behind. So last year, I don't think anyone was surprised to see Sofia perform the way she did. She'd lost the race on Lookout once before, and there was no way she was going to let it happen again. So this year, will Sofia and Keegan make a successful attack on Lookout once again? Or will we see another contender emerge from the field to take the top spot here in Monterey? All eyes will be on Lookout Ridge for that second lap to find out.
All right, thank you, Michelle. I believe the men are only moments away from Lookout, and Kimo and Janelle are in position and ready to walk us through the action. But before we cut away, we just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge the upcoming 2-year anniversary of Mo Wilson's passing. You just saw her there in the footage when she was the 2022 Sea Otter Classic Fuego XL champion. It was an amazing ride, and by all accounts, she was an amazing person. So today, if you would like to honor the memory of Mo, you can check out the Mariah Wilson Foundation at mariahwilsonfoundation.org. The foundation aims to promote healthy living and community building by supporting organizations dedicated to expanding access to recreation, sports, and educational programs. And coming up here in a few weeks, on May 11th, the foundation will host the second annual Ride for Mo fundraiser at the Wildflower Inn in East Burke, Vermont. If you're in the area, come out to support the Mariah Wilson Foundation with a couple gravel rides, live music, games, and an amazing raffle. And honor Mo by embracing a difficult day with love that overcomes hate, joy that overcomes grief, and life that overcomes death. And with that, we turn to you, Kimo and Janelle, for a look at the 2024 field's first of 2 climbs up Lookout Ridge.
The men have hit Lookout Ridge, just under 4 miles to the finish line. We've got about 10 riders in this front group. We've seen 2 riders kind of dangling off the back, but now there is absolutely no place to hide, both in terms of fitness or in terms of visuals.
I think they've maybe called a little bit of a truce. Nobody's really put the hammer down yet on this climb. They know it's a long climb. They also know they've got to do this whole loop one more time.
Keegan on the front with Alexi Vermeulen. It's exciting to see Alexi off to such a strong start. You know, Sea Otter was one of his throwaway races last year. At this point in the race in previous years, we've also seen much smaller groups, and we have a dozen men in this leading group. And I think that this is just a testament to how much the Grand Prix is driving riders to train through the winter and come into the season ready for a fight.
Janelle, this section of Lookout Ridge peaks out at about 10-12%. There was a lot of washout with the rain this year, but look at Alexi going to the front and driving the pace here on this hill. Starting to break the group apart. The first one to get popped off the back here looks to be pacing.
A couple of those gaps that were opening up, I think, is indicative of what we'll see when they come through the first of the big climbs on lap 2.
They want to start the year strong. You know, they'd much rather put some points on the board early in the year and give themselves a little bit of cushion. It's really tough to compete in the Lifetime Grand Prix for the full season if you don't start out with a result early on. They've got another short little climb. It's going to lead them back into some single track. They'll cross the track and then they'll drop down just next to the corkscrew out here at WeatherTech Laguna Seca Raceway. This is that section of course that we added from last year. A lot of it is not really well groomed single track, and because of all the erosion, the rain, it can be really slick. It's a quick descent.
And this is not the time to take risks. This is not where the race is won, but it certainly can be lost.
So as they're dumping onto the track here and going to head through the start-finish and start the second lap, how are they looking down there, Bill?
Looks like we've got about 10 or 11 riders coming through right now in that men's lead group. We saw Keegan Swenson up there in second wheel as they come through. Those riders all single file, looking like a road breakaway.
With that, let's turn our attention back to Lookout as the women have now made the turn and are approaching the climb. Kimo and Janelle, how's that lead group looking now as they approach the end of lap 1?
Just as they have dumped out on the bottom of Lookout Ridge, we can see Alexis has closed that gap. Looks to be about 3-4 seconds down on Sophia, who's got 2 guys, I think, just been sitting on her wheel here for a while.
Always amazing to me how much Sophia wants to control the race. Pace group, it is a different story. Alarm bells are still going off. This is an excellent time for these women to be able to close down some time to our leading 2.
So Janelle, we're watching Alexis and Sophia. They're hitting the steepest part of this climb. Peaks out at about 12%. Super loose and sandy. We saw the guys come through earlier, and the guys seem to kind of call a truce coming up this hill. We saw Payson come off the back a little bit. It looks like these two, though, are just they're content to hang together. Alexis kind of hanging just a couple feet off the back of Sophia's wheel, but they seem to be content to kind of ride this at tempo. Alexis has played it smart, worked to get across, but then is just sitting in and probably giving herself a chance to recover. Riding a smart race today.
Now back in the chase group, we've got Jenna Reinhardt dictating pace, along with an experience of Aaron Huck. We've also got Sam Shepard. I would imagine that Sam is really motivated to do her first round of the Life Time Grand Prix and show how strong she has come off of the winter after racing Cape Epic. If Alexis is able to keep in contact, this is a fantastic situation for the two of them as they come up and over the climb and head towards the single track on the descent to the track.
All right, we've got our leading women coming through right now. That is going to be Sofia Gomez Vichafanye leading the charge. She's got the company of Alexis Escarda with her as well. So those two riders coming through at about 2 hours and 17 minutes or so. So that is very, very fast time. Samara Shepard coming through, Hannah Otto, Aaron Huck, Jenna Reinhardt. So 36 seconds, the gap to our two leaders.
And there you have it. Your lead women have completed lap 1 here inside the Laguna Seca Raceway. You know, Laguna Seca has been the home for the Sea Otter Classic since its inception back in the early 90s. For 34 years, bike fans from all over the world have been making the annual pilgrimage to the Salinas Valley. For a bit more about the event, here's Jeff Frost once again with what he thinks makes the Sea Otter Classic the event of the season.
Sea Otter is a fixture in the world of cycling. When we first started, the trade show was kind of a sideshow, if you will, to the racing. Well, now it hosts 9,000 athletes and 74,000 fans, so the rise has been meteoric.
You've got so many different brands. We're all super passionate about it, and it's just so sick to see everyone come around and come together and just promote the thing that we all love.
It's the place to be. It's the place to check out gear. A lot of times it's the people that started the company are here.
There's just so much going on. It's sort of like Coachella, but for bikes.
You know, this is something where the entire industry shows up, and they're bringing all the newest gear and tech, and the fans get opportunity to check all this stuff out. This year alone, we have over 1,000 vendors in attendance, which is a record here at Sea Otter.
It's almost like a reunion every year. I might not go to as many races anymore, but I know I'll probably see all my buddies at Sea Otter.
Downhill practice for the juniors right now. Wyatt, 8 years old, is racing downhill for his 4th year in a row.
3rd. I missed one.
Wow, yeah.
When you walk away from the Life Time Sea Otter Classic, you go, wow, that was cool. I got to hang out with my buddies, I got to ride my bike, and I got to walk around and see products that I hadn't known existed. I mean, if you're a fan of cycling and you have yet to experience the Sea Otter Classic, it's something you simply have to do to truly appreciate how special this place is.
Amen to that. So for those of you out there in the crowd, you've got about an hour or so before the elite men make their way back into the venue. So go out there, grab a hot dog, something to drink, high-five some buddies, and enjoy all that the expo has to offer. And with that, let's kick it back out to our team in the field for the latest on where things stand with the men at the Fuego XL.
Thanks, Bill. Our men are out here making their way through lap 2. We still have a big lead group. You have to imagine it's only a matter of time before someone starts to make a move and break this pack up.
When you're in a big group like this, you have to know that there's a lot of horsepower that can chase attacks down. So it's really challenging to make moves with so many players in the game.
So Janelle, we just caught back up with our lead men. It looks as though Matt Beers is pushing the pace up this hill. Lexi Vermeulen getting ready to take a pull through, and of course Keegan right there sitting on his wheel. So looks like these three guys have put a little gap on the rest of the group, and they seem to be working together well.
You have to be patient, but you also need to read the people around you, kind of figure out, okay, this guy's moving up the right. Now, okay, what's happening on the left, in the middle? Kind of be very hyper aware of your surroundings and then use your common sense to kind of make the right decision in that moment.
About 5 seconds back, we've got a chase group here with Cole Patton leading the charge, trying to make that bridge across. Howard Grotz sitting there on his wheel, looks pretty comfortable on his wheel.
But it's all happening here. 1 minute, 2 minutes. It's a little bit of instinct and also not overthinking.
They hit a little bit of a descent here, and Keegan decided to come to the front and try to shake it up. He's putting a little gap on Alexi.
This year, I'd like to not have it come down to a sprint if I can. That was a little bit stressful last year with Russell.
Keegan looks really comfortable spinning. He's so fluid, and then you can see Alexi back there on that straight section, rocking his shoulder, much bigger gear, grinding to try and get back on Keegan's wheel.
They know that they're coming up to the climb to Lookout Ridge.
You race enough, and you've won enough races and had some success. You start to just get a sense of these guys are hurting. It's time to go, or if you have a small gap, it's time to push.
Hey, so Tim, we saw you out there on the e-bike, caught back up to Matt Beers. How are things looking down there?
Hey, Kimo, these guys are flying the downhill. Keegan is making his move, and Matt and Alexi are doing everything they can to keep up.
I heard Alexi make a mistake, and I was like, oh, no, we go.
It is so impressive to see Keegan descending away from the other leaders in the field.
They still only got about a 5-second gap, so the race isn't over yet, but Keegan sure does look solid right now.
As racers, we kind of call it snapping the elastic. You can snap the elastic, they can no longer see you, then they start racing each other.
It makes it so hard mentally, though, to have let that gap go on a descent and to know that you're going to have to chase down one of the strongest climbers that rides on dirt these days.
So you just need to break them, have a small gap, and then you can slowly build it and really just maintain it. And I think that takes a lot of time to kind of hone that steady throttle.
And here goes Keegan, making his way up Lookout.
I've gotten to be a little better at that. In the past, I've gone too hard and blown up or whatnot. So I think it's it's a bit of an art to learn how to do that. But also if the race comes down and there's 3 or 4 of us, you also have to know how to win a race that way.
Kimo, for every one of these athletes racing today, racing near the front, they have to be constantly on watch for what we talk about as being the moment in the race. Sometimes you're the rider who can sense that the opportunity is there and it's yours for the taking, and you make the move and recognize that you are in that moment.
And now Alexi is pulling away from Matt. This is really blowing up here on Lookout.
And that's that mark of the champion.
All right, Sea Otter, what we're hearing out on the course is that Keegan Swenson separated from the field on a downhill section before Lookout. Alexi and Matt were on the chase, but I think we all know at this point that you're not going to catch Keegan on a climb at the end of the race. Grab something to drink and get on over to the finish line, because Keegan should be entering Laguna Seca any moment now.
It is ever so sweet to be able to put your hands up in the air and celebrate a solo win.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is just about onto the pavement right now, so we're going to make a little bit of noise. This guy has put on a phenomenal show, beating his time from last year. Sea Otter, meet the new boss, the same as the old boss. This is Keegan Swenson.
Here we see Alexi Vermeulen coming in. Looks like he's given about a minute up to Keegan, but he's going to come away with second place points. Just behind him, we have Matt Beers.
Don't go anywhere. We still got lots of finishers to come through as our elite women out there doing battle to see who's going to be the queen of the Lifetime Grand Prix, presented by Mazda here today.
We're back here with our lead women, and it's still Alexis and Sophia together in front. Alexis put in that big effort to break away from the chase group and close the gap to Sophia.
Yeah, so now the question is, how many matches did she burn to do that? And will she be able to hang with Sophia until the end?
There comes a moment in the race when you can feel that all of the tension is raised. And that's when you really have to start looking around and deciding what strategy is going to suit you best.
Yep, Alexi! Keep going! Hang in there!
You can see Sophia and Alexis out there, and our chasers look to be about a minute down.
If people are starting to hurt, you can slowly start to ratchet up the pace to make people start to question their will.
Hannah Otto in first wheel, followed by Sam Shepard, Aaron Huck, and Jenna Reinhardt, looking very strong, fast, and smooth as they go through this section of single track.
Alexis was looking for a pull. Sophia said no.
Our chase group, 5 women, currently being led by Hannah Otto. And Haley Smith sitting second wheel, rejoining from behind as Sam Shepard takes to the front with an attack.
And now Sophia's pulling away from Skarda.
Sophia's smashing this.
She looks to have put a couple minute gap here on Alexis. So showing everybody that she means business in the 2024 Life Time Grand Prix presented by Mazda.
Alexis still in pursuit, and our group of 5 led by Hannah Otto not far behind her.
My lungs are burning, my legs are hurting, my mind is telling me, no, stop, like, I don't want to feel that. But I'm telling myself, push past that wall.
All right, word on the street is that it's Sophia out front solo after Alexis lost contact. And she has a chase group motoring right along. It's setting up to be another showdown on Lookout.
Sophia has made it up to Lookout Ridge. She has a pretty incredible gap.
Oh, there's Alexis Skarda. Oh, this could be a battle for second and third. Let's see if Hannah Shell sees that too. That's definitely going to be a carrot for Sam and Hannah Otto. Oh, Alexis is just blown up.
Being able to see a rider in front and chase them down is super motivating. Everything hurts, but you're near the finish, so you just dig deep. You keep pushing hard.
Sam's going for Alexis. This is going to be it.
Confidence comes from execution. So when you're able to execute one thing well, you gain confidence. And that confidence allows you to execute something else well.
Sea Otter, let's bring it up a notch. This is your champion once again here at Sea Otter. Welcome home, Sophia Gomez Vichafanye.
I just push hard. Yeah, it just gives you another level of energy and strength.
And this is it, Sam Shepard making contact with Alexis Skarda's wheel and going by, not waiting for Alexis to be able to jump back on. Alexis out of the saddle, trying to maintain contact with Sam Shepard. Wow, Chemo, what a ride by the Kiwi.
2K to go. She catches her and she just blows by like she's standing still, doesn't even give her a chance to get on her wheel. She knows how to race a bike, and look at her on this hill. She is already opening up a gap, and you can see Alexis looks like she's already backed off.
To dig deep and to overcome, to beat the other riders, you just have to want it badly.
Sam Shepard, what a solid first day for her in the Grand Prix.
Here we have it, Janelle. Hannah Otto just caught Alexis Skarda, went by her again, didn't even slow down. Look at, she's standing, sprinting away, so she's now moved into third place. And she is still gunning for Sam Shepard's.
Oh, I feel absolutely for Alexis started. You can see how deflated she is.
I prepared as well as I could have. I put in everything I could to be on the start line, so I wanted to make it worthwhile, and my mind was not settling for less than the best I could give on the day.
All right, put your hands together here. What a phenomenal ride. Very happy. Samara Shepard with that silver medal performance here today. Taking a quick look back over her shoulder. She's going to see Hannah Otto in the distance. Otto with a phenomenal ride. Picking up a bronze medal. Welcome home, third place, Hannah Otto. And our fourth place finisher, Haley Smith, in a late charge at the end of the race. And Alexis Scarter rounding out the top 5. What a phenomenal finish for all these women. And Alexis Scarter rounding
It was an all-out grit your teeth kind of finish. Nothing quite brings on the ecstasy like that, crossing the finish line knowing you definitely had to earn it.
Your bronze medalist, Hannah Otto.
I haven't raced many of these girls at all before, so it was a bit of a see how everyone's going, and everyone's going really fast, it turns out.
She needs almost no introduction. Sofia Gomez Vichafanye.
The athletes here in the Grand Prix just keep bringing the level up every year. Everyone's more prepared, everyone is more focused in on these events.
Okay, your bronze medalist on today, Matthew Beard.
As a roadie moving to the mountain bike slowly, it's taken a couple years to even be able to follow these guys to single track, and hopefully slowly getting closer to scaring Keegan a little bit.
I know Sophia is also on another level, so I think it's going to be a really competitive season. I'm excited about it.
I love these events as they get harder and harder. I think that's kind of what you need as an athlete.
Yeah, I don't know if the season is going to go well, but that's kind of exciting.
That was an incredible day of racing and such a proper start to what promises to be a season unlike any other. Next up, probably the most infamous, daunting event in the Grand Prix. Here's Kimo Seymour once again to give us a preview of what we can expect to see on June 1st at Unbound Gravel.
One thing that makes this series so compelling is the diversity of races these athletes are forced to face. And that contrast couldn't be more apparent than going from this course at Sea Otter to race number 2, the 200 miles of rolling Flint Hills of Kansas at Unbound Gravel. Fortunately, these riders have till the end of May to train those legs and tune their engines. No matter how you feel about your results here, whether good or bad, there's no candy coating the challenge that lies ahead. Last year proved to be full of surprises and a little drama. Both bikes and bodies faltered. Our riders withstood 10 to 13 hours of crushing mud, drenching rain, and sweltering heat. And they are all coming back for more. Whether you're leaving Sea Otter looking for a comeback or defending your position, everyone has their work cut out for them.
Well, that's it for us here in Monterey. On behalf of Kimo Seymour, Janelle Spilker, and the rest of our production team, I'm Bill Ellison saying thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time in Emporia.